Yes. Okay, so here we go. And I pray that I didn't mess up. Okay, so I'm going to switch my camera so that you all can see what I've got here. I've got I've got like a cover for my table and it's slick and my mouse doesn't want to work. Let's see if I can get this lined up here where y'all can see me straight. Okay, so this is just I had went to Walmart. I think it was Walmart. No, actually Big Lots. And they have gift bags. They had like two sharp boxes or boxes for $2 or $1. And so these make excellent things to not only like wrap gifts in, but they make excellent gifts as well so that people can reuse them. And I thought what we would do is again, I'm going to do like uh, I don't know whether it'll be Christmas or fall. I have an idea of what I want to do, and I'll just do it, and then I'll see whether or not it needs anything else. So what I need is I've got my paints here, and I know that I'm going to need some, I always need white. Don't you know, it looks like I didn't even, yeah, there we go. Always will need white. So I'm going to put me out some white. Even though I have white here, I just highlight a lot with white. I'm going to need some, to begin with, I'm going to do some brown and white. And I believe I'll use a light brown as well. If you guys have a light brown, if you don't, the white alone, I mean, you can always just dip it in white, which is why I always put white in there. And let me see. What else do we need? We're going to need some yellow. I hope you guys can see me. I hope that I'm still live. I'm going to just take. If you can hear me, okay. Okay. I'm going to just. Okay. Good. Let me get this off. I'm still live. I need to just mute this, and just that way I know that I'm on then. Okay, so I got yellow. I just want to see if there's anyone commenting, so I wanted to leave that on there. Let me see. And I know eventually I'm going to do some red as well. There's like two different colors of red I got. I've actually wanted a dark red, like a Christmas red. I may have to move just a second and get some more paint because I didn't lay out my. Okay, and I believe, as y'all know, I have a basin for water, and here's all of my paintbrushes. So I'm going to do, it's just a small flat. This is probably, I've got like a 12, and I think this is a 10. I think I'm going to actually just do the 10. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do it this way or if I want to do it this way. I think I'm going to do it this way. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is just do like a reef type thing around there, and or maybe a branch or something. What do I want to do? I think I will do just like a branch coming through here, and then I'll add some fall leaves maybe, or some pine cones, or some poinsettias or something, pine needles. I don't know, but I will teach you all the technique. So this is a flat. And I want you to see how, let me see if I can get how that is chiseled edged. And it's very important that you have that sharp chisel edge on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm sorry, for right now, because I decided I was going to do a big branch there, I'm going to use a bigger brush, a bigger flat. It's still flat, and it still has that sharp chisel edge. But this one's a number 10. We will still use it. And then this one is like a 3/4 flat. This is about the biggest one. Unless I'm doing walls or something, this is about the largest brush I use. So, and first thing I do is I always dampen my brushes. I got some paper towels here. And I always keep a folded paper towel beside me. And when I dampen that brush, this is how I do to get the water out of it, is I have a paper towel, I just fold it over and I press and I just pull up on those bristles. And look how sharp that chisel edge is now. And so if your paintbrush is full of paint sometimes and you're not getting that chisel edge, hey, Miss Gloria, yay, I see you. Good, thank you for commenting. If you're not getting that sharp chisel edge, especially if your paintbrush is like, once you get it really loaded and you can't get that sharp chisel edge, you need to just clean your brush and then just start all over again. So basically, I've got a light brown and a dark brown. Again, if you don't have the light brown, you could just add white to it. So I'm just going to dip the corners. Now, you know, I blend and shade and highlight. If you've been with me a lot on doing the same stroke. And so I'm putting a lot of pressure on that brush, and I'm really just getting that good and loaded. I'm putting a lot of pressure on that. And I'm getting a lot of light brown, and I just want, I need some dark brown in there. I'm really, really putting pressure on that. And what I'm doing is when I do that, it pushes that paint into those bristles. Okay. And then before I go to my surface, I like to tip the corners. And let me show you how flat that is. You can see that I still have that flat chisel edge, and that's what we need. Okay. So I'm going to just start like right up here in the corner. And I'm going to lead with the dark brown. And I'm going to put some pressure on this brush because this is going to be a limb. Now, if I was just going to do like a stem or even like the tiny little branches, it depends on how much pressure you put on this brush as to how fat your branches and stuff are going to be. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to put a lot of pressure, and I'm going to start right up here at the very corner. And I'm going to put a lot of pressure on that brush. And I'm just going to pull it. And as I do, I'm standing it up. And that takes a lot of paint. So sometimes, like when you see how it's starting to get empty right here, sometimes it could be your surface as well. And I always tell my students to always have floating medium. Floating medium is the fluff in paint, but it's clear. And I'm just going to dip that just dip it in there. And then I'm going to come right back over here and I'm going to pick up some more paint with that floating medium in my brush. And what that does is it helps you to just really, it makes your paint go further for one thing. But depending on what kind of surface you're using, if you have a rough surface, sometimes it just sucks up that paint. And so I'm actually going to just go right back through here And I'm going to do it again, right over top of what I've done. And then I'm going to stand that up. And this just decides it's still not going to do that. So what I need to do, instead of going back this time, I'm just going to come right here about in the middle. And I'm going to finish that stroke. Okay. And then I'm picking up more paint. And I think I'm gonna do another limb right here. I'm gonna come right here at the top of this one. I'm sorry. I can see that I'm right in the way where y'all can't see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna come right here at the same point. And I think I'm just going to drape that around. And I'm always coming over here picking up more paint. If you see me going away, that's what I'm doing. I'm picking up more paint. I'm going to go right here, pick that up a little bit more. Then I'm going to come off of this one and maybe do a few more. And I'm putting light pressure on this so that it's not big and fat anymore. Okay. Maybe right here, right off of this, I might put another one. And even right here, just to fill up the canvas some. Okay. And I'm just depending on how I want that limb to go, is I'm turning my brush as I'm pulling. Let me show you that again. So if I come through here and I want it to lean to the left, then I'm leaning my brush to the left. If I want it to the right, I'll lean my brush to the right. Okay. And I'll do just a few more. And I like to do some skinny ones just because branches are branches. They got a lot of little shoots and things on there. I'm not going to do a whole lot up here because I have something in mind. And maybe even right here. I'm not for sure. Okay. So I think why I've got this loaded, I don't know. This is a big old brush for what I really want to do. I think I'm just going to clean this brush and I'm going to go with my smaller one now. And remember, I have a number 10. And on this one, I'm going to pick up, again, I need to rinse my brush, take it, wipe out the water. I'm coming over here and I'm going to dip it just like I did before. But this time, I think I'm going to tip this lighter brown also in white. And I'll try it and see what it's going to look like. Because I'm on a very, very white surface, sometimes it won't show up. But I'll show you what I'm trying to do. Again, I'm loading this now when your brush is full, I'm putting a lot of pressure on this. When your brush is good and loaded, you never want to get paint up in this. This is called a ferrule. You don't want to get paint up in there because it will ruin your brushes. But when it's about 3/4 of the way up, then your brush is really good and loaded, okay? But again, I'm putting a lot of pressure on this brush to push that paint in there, okay? Now I think what we'll do is I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to do a few little pine cones. And there's different ways to make pine cones. There's different kinds of pine cones. But I'm just going to make, they're fairly small ones because I've got this small brush. And I'm just going to put a few here and there. And what I'm going to do to begin with is, let me see, I think I'll go right here. And I'm just going to make like almost like a, I don't know, like a circle, I guess you'd say, okay? Or like an almond shape, okay? And these are going to be fairly small because, and I'm coming back all the time and I'm picking up paint, okay? And let me see, I might do that one more time just to make it a little bit bigger. And I'd like to have that, if you notice, I've turned my brush. I'm turning, I did one stroke and then I turn it around to get that dark on the edge, which I like. Okay, and then I'm coming back and sort of tipping this brush with the white. Let me show you how I'm going to do this. I've got that sharp chisel edge, and let me see. I can show you how to do this maybe on a on a clean plate. So what I'm going to do is I'm touching that, put a little bit of pressure, and then just pulling. And I don't really want it, I'm just barely touching it. I'm not going to pull it a long way, okay? And that's just the tip of this. Now, when I get back to the actual, I'm just going to do like three little tips, three or four little touches right here, just to do the top part. And I hope you all can see me. I wish I could bring that down a little bit more, but I think when I do, it just makes it really weird. So, so maybe I could try, but I'll just keep holding it up. Now, once I get that little tiny tip in there, now when I make a stroke, I'm gonna come down below it, and then I'm gonna put some pressure on that a little bit, and then I'm gonna start making little slices. Okay, and I'm gonna go off to the side and keep making little slices. And I'm going to keep picking up that paint because I want that white to really show up in that. And then right up here in the middle, once I got these two little slices, I'm going to come right here in the middle. And actually, for this little tiny thing that I'm doing, here, I'm going to just make a big one here where y'all can see me clear. That way you'll know what I'm doing, okay? Here, I'm just going to do this almond shape, okay? And then I'm coming back, I'm tipping my corners. I've got the white here, and I'm just putting some like little tips there as the top of the pine cone. And then as I do this, as I do here, I'm actually just like putting pressure on it and then standing it back up. Putting pressure on it, standing it back up. Putting pressure on it, standing it back up. Now, I'm going to do the same thing, like right over top of these two. I'm just going to put pressure and stand it up, pressure and stand it up. And then I got a lot of paint on that brush. And then right here, I'm going to just do a little slice. But I'm going to put pressure here, and then I'm going to slice it in. Okay? And then I'm going to come right back over top of that, and I might lead off with that brown that time. And then I'm going to come right back over here. And I'm just going to keep laying these little slices in. Just keep laying them in there. The reason I'm getting a lot of that white, or trying to, is because I want it to show up, for one thing. But with these little brushes, if you get them very loaded, all they do is really get muddy. And so I could even have went with a smaller brush for what I'm doing. And I don't know if you guys got a smaller. I got like, this is a number 6. And I think I'll do it and see if it helps to get more definition in that for what I want. Now, remember, I said that I always dampen my brush, and I did. I'm over here loading this little tiny brush. Now, if this was a bigger pine cone, that brush would have been perfect. But because it's a fairly small one, okay. And I got this sharp chisel edge. Now, I'm just going to come back over here. Excuse me. And I'm just going to start laying those little slices in, almost like a rose. But if it's too dark or too white, we can pick up that tan. See if that helps. And I'm just going to keep going down here and laying little slices. I think sometimes the brown on the top actually shows up a little better. Let me do that again over here. I'm sorry. Excuse me. May have to get me a drink of water. So anyway, you're just going to keep going down and you're going to just slice that in. And if it's too light, you could just go with the brown. And I think on this white, it might actually be, but I really wanted, now I'm just going to sort of go crossed. I'm going to do this all the way down. I'm just making almost like little commas. Okay. And I like it out here. I want it to be sort of outside. Excuse me. I'm going to have to get me a drink of water. Excuse me. Good boy. Know what that's all about? I went outside and walked up in the field. I don't know if I got hold of something or what. So anyway, I'm just making these little commas, and I want that all the way out here to, okay. At the bottom, it can just sort of come down like little slices. Okay. I know it's sort of hard to see, but hopefully if I put the light on it, you can see it's got those little waves in there. Okay. Now, because this is going to be so tiny over here, I'm going to go ahead and start that. So I'm just I'll probably just, again, just small little strokes. And I liked it because I really wanted some of that white to show up on here. But because it is a white surface, it doesn't really, don't want to behave. When your brush gets too loaded, it just gets all muddy, and you can't define what colors is what. Get some, again, just little comma strokes, but I'm doing it on both sides. And again, I said that there's different kinds. I'll show you a different kind. Maybe it'll be easier even than this with this white. Okay. Okay, let me put another one. Let me put another one right here. Okay, I'm going to do that. I still will do still will do the like the almond shape. Okay. Now, just how I did the top of that, and instead of having like a really light touch, just touch it just a little harder and do your top. And then you could come down. You can just come down and just keep touching, 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 touching. And every once in a while, like I said, you definitely want to put some color in here. If not, it's just going to look. And again, I like to fold that out to the side. Now this one's the simplest way to do it because you're just touch and pulling. But on this, you really just want to make sure that you can get some color in there to where you can actually see the little slices. Okay. I'm going to just come right here on the bottom. Hopefully you can see. See, you can see that one's a little bit more defined than that one. I'm just going to go right over top of this one. Since I've done it, I like this one better. So I can go right over it. As you can see, and I always tell my students, there's always ways. If you don't like something, it's paint. It's paint. So you can always change it. I'm just going to go right over here. And hopefully where it won't be too many. Let me get more brown. I like I like the brown and the white together. I think it sort of highlights it a little better. Okay. This one. And let me see. Maybe one more right here. Okay. Gotta pay attention to what time it is. I don't even know. And I ain't even done what I wanted to do yet. Okay. I just want to make for sure that that top is sort of defined. And the pine cone, as you know, it almost looks like a little Christmas tree. Some of them. I've got huge pines in my yard. I have tons of pine cones. Sometimes if I set up at art shows and stuff, we pick them up and we dry them and everything and put the essential oils on them, like for cinnamon and peppermint and stuff, and, and put them in a bag and tie a little ribbon around them. They're very sweet. Now, I think what I'm going to do, I'm hoping I can get this. I have a plan. I have a plan if I can get this into here. Okay, so let's see what I'm going to do here. I want to put, of course, I'm going to put some leaves on this, but I'm also, um, I'm going to do some, let me get me some orange. Girls, I'm so sorry. It seems like I don't even have my act together. Let me get me some orange real quick. I don't have any out there. What it is, I never have little bottles of orange, and I need to do that. I usually buy this big old thing. So, of course, this is going to be a fall. Or, yeah. I don't know that, I don't really know of a lot of people who give gifts in the fall, so I don't know whether this would be good or not. Oh, Jesus, which one do I want to do? Help me to know. I actually, what I really want to do is put a cardinal on here. So I think, I'm sorry, guys, I'm just like scattered. I'm going to do red, and I'm just going to put it right over here. And this is actually like this is a magenta red. Gonna, yeah, there's like a cardinal red. Okay, so I'm going to put the cardinal here first before I do anything else. And then that way I know by his placement. And I was actually thinking about doing two, but I don't know that I've got time to do that. So, okay, so I've got like a magenta red and just a regular red. If you don't have a magenta, that's fine. You can put just a little tiny bit of course, we're going to do black, and we're going to do um, a little bit of white or yellow on his wings. And I don't know that this brush is big enough. Now I'm going to just use this brush now. Now, sometimes if you feel more comfortable, like to go ahead and try to, now I've got an ink pen. I don't have a pencil. So what I'm going to do is basically a cardinal's body is, I'm just going to draw out almost like I did that pine cone. I'm just going to fill this in. Okay. And then from here, I'm going to go right here. And again, I'm going to fill some of this in with black. So I realize that that's showing right there. I'm not that worried about that. It'll have white and every other color. Then right here, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to make like a little slice. I'm going to come right in like so. Okay. And right here, sort of the same way. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to slice it just a little bit, but not nearly as much, because he's going to be turned to the side. Okay. And actually, I got this here. I'm going to go on down with this so that he's actually sitting on the limb. I'm just going to go right back over top of this. Okay. Sorry, my son just come in. You're going to hear our dog carrying on. I may take him like completely off of the screen or off the. I hope you guys can see that. Sorry, that's my home dog. Right here, of course, it's going to be his head. And all I'm going to do there is just like raise it up just a little bit. Just put like a little area there. Because as you know, cardinals have got the little area here on top of their head. And I'm just going to go ahead and sort of put that in. And it's just as you know, it's like almost like a little triangle. But I'm just touching my brush and putting that in there. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, again, I did not, I'm going to come over here and like sort of put his wings in. I'm going to do the back the same way. But again, this time on this side, you're just not going to see it as pronounced as you do over here. Okay. Now I'm going to pick me up some black. Maybe. Where is some black? I had a, I'm just going to put me some right here. Have I not opened that? Jeez, help me with this. This is black. I think it's black. It should be open. It's not. Lord, 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 help me. Okay. All the more that I need. Sure, that there's some in there. Mhm. Okay. This one wasn't open. Let me show y'all. Hopefully this is a trick that will work. It always does. Like these are always, they always come with the plastic. So instead of turning them like you would normally turn, just turn it in your hands the other way. Of course, it ain't gonna do it today. I've opened up plastic many, many times like that. But of course, this isn't gonna act right today. So, okay. I'm giving me some black. Yeah, look at that brush. I thought I stuck my brush down in my water that I was drinking. That let you know how how much I got my act together. Okay, so I'm just going to. I've still got red on there, but I'm just going to tip the corner of that brush, the tip of that brush on the side with some black. Okay. Now, as you know, a cardinal has got he's got like black around his face right here. So I'm just going to put just a little bit of black right here. I'm also going to put some right at the tip. I hope y'all can see what I'm doing. I know it's so far away. And some through his wings, especially down here at the bottom. That's just a very, very light touch, okay? And right here, remember, we have him right here. So sometimes that's good to sort of define that with. Hoping y'all can see what I'm doing. Now I'm not going to put this full of black. I'm going to end up putting some white in there too. And of course, his back feathers, his tail feathers, have black in them. Like I said, right through here, when it comes to his body. Hit that again. And right here on the ends, I'm going to put quite a bit of black. Hopefully y'all can see what I'm doing. I just touched it. Right on the tips of his wings. I get that black is very dark, so of course it doesn't take a whole lot. But this is one reason I said I'm going to also use white. I'm going to clean my brush. Now, a lot of people want to do um, orange beaks, and I've seen them like A lot of people do orange beaks, and that's okay. I'm going to too, so that, we just are sort of consistent in it. But I'm going to put just a little bit more black. I'll do more black right here, just again, more defined. Now you could do this with a script liner if it's easier for you, because we just want him to, because it is a little bit difficult with just a brush to get all of that in there with it being that tiny. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean this brush. Now I'm going to get some white, and right here where his feathers was, I'm going to come over here I got that sharp chisel edge, and I'm going to go right over those in places with white. I'm not going to like define them all. I just want a little bit of white on there. Okay. And even right through here. And it's a very gentle touch. I'm just barely touching that. And I can actually pick up some, I don't want him pink. So I'm trying to pick up some dark red too. And I might go right back over that with that dark red to make for sure that we get him pretty dark. This paint, I'm not really, I think I'm used maybe magenta rather than engine red. Now, I do have, a script liner. Now, many script liners look like this, and that's fine. You can use it too. But I'm just going to use this. I always go into water a little bit with that, only to clean it. And then I'm going to go right over here, and I'm just going to sort of clean this beak up just a little bit, because I want that to be, like right here, I want it to be, like almost like a good triangle. And right here on the back of his head, I want to do that. And his feathers. And even probably down here some. Okay. Now, we'll clean that really good. And then I'm going to I'm just going to go right down in that white with that script liner. And I'm going to put a dot right there. And then I'm going to put one right here on the top of his nose, right over that. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Like right over the top of that triangle there. And then I'm going to go right here to the orange. And right where that white is, sort of like where it is actually, that's where his beak will be. Okay. And I still don't really like how that black is. I'm going to put a little bit more black in there. But the black should be like underneath where his eyes at. And even like in the front of his, like right here, almost like right where his eye is, we're going to go around that now with black. Okay. And then right in the middle of that white, we're just going to put like a little black speck. Okay. Now that needed to be dry, I guess. I'll just let that go dry. Now, while he's doing his thing and he's over here drying, I also want to, let's see what else. Now, I've never, their talons or their legs, I've always seen them as black. I've just never seen them actually as orange. And I'm just going to put one little mark right here and right there, like he's hanging on. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, let me see what time it is. Okay. Okay. I'm going to clean this really quick. And I really think, this one brush, my little brush again, my little flat brush. What did I do with it? Here it is. I'm actually going to do, I want to do another one, but this time I want it to be a female. So, females are more of a, they've got some red in them, but they're more of a yellowish, orangish color. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do like I just sort of muddied up my orange just a little bit with a little bit of brown. And I think I'm going to put her up here um, facing him. And let me see. What I've done is remember I did like an oval for her body, for his body. Okay. And then what else there? Then of course her tail is going to be underneath this branch. Okay. I've got too much paint on there. I don't like how that looks. I'm way too fat on her tail. Let me see if I can correct that real quick. If it's dry, like if a surface is dry, what I can do, this will teach y'all something too. What I can do is look, I can just go right over here. I'm just going to go right over here with some clean paint or clean water, and it helps get that off of there. With a dry paper towel. What I don't like, I can always cover up. Okay, I'm gonna get orange again. For one thing, too, this orange that I have is not Folkart. It's very thin, and because of that, I don't like the texture of it. I never realized that. I think it's just it's apple barrel, and it's very thin. What the artwork that I do, usually I use Folkart, and it's just okay. Right now, I'm going to put this will be her wing. Okay, this is her front wing. Again, this one over here, because she's turned, it's going to go to the side. Okay. Of course, she's going to have her little head. Now, I'm probably cleaning this up a lot, so so I know that still looks awful right there. Let's see. A little bit better than okay. So what I'm gonna do again, because she is totally they have some black and stuff in them, but not nearly like a cardinal does, a bright cardinal. So I'm gonna go right here and I'm just putting some yellow in here too. And I got just a little bit of I still have some of that black in my brush because it didn't just clean up the best, but it actually works in my favor. So yeah, remember they have. I'm also going to put some. I am going to put some red in there too. Just I'm going to make her just a little, especially right through here. I'm going to put her some red in here and even down here on her tail, on her wings, just a little bit, and even on her head. But now her tuft or her little crown. Now it is red. Usually they are red. I'm just going to, again, this is where your script liner is going to come in good so that you can get that angle that you need for her. And it's pointy, don't like that. So clean this up just a little bit. She looks like she's had a bad hair day, so clean that up. Let me see. I don't know what I'm doing with them. Okay, so right here, our face too, right here. Has it got that black? Almost looks like a triangle in there. I'm gonna fix her hair. Just I'm gonna fix her little tap here in a minute. I just haven't yet. Again, it just needs to be more right here and come down. And actually fatter right here. So, so I'm gonna put the white right here. Okay. This time I'm gonna let it dry just a little bit while I do the rest. And then remember they've got the little, I never did correct his eye either here. Got the little white, looks like a little white thing right there, down below their eyes. And then she's got her beak triangle. Okay. I really don't like how I got her angled. I was going to try to make her look at him, but it didn't work out that way. So it's just, okay. Now, with the script liner, yeah, well, and then go over here and just make it like 3 fingers right here on the branch. And then I'm still going to put some more red in that. I might need do some white here. I'm going to put some white right here. Sort of clean that up a little bit. I'll put some more black in it. I'm also going to put some more red right up here at the top of her feathers, or even through her feathers. I mean, she does have red on her, but a lot of times they're just not as brilliant in color as the males are. I'm just going to touch and just sort of pull. And I'm going to use some of this black right around here where her body is. I'm just going to sort of touch a little bit. See, I don't like it that black. Might just do a little bit of gray through there. I don't like that either. Don't like that either. So I'll do the red. I'll do just a bright red. And it just sort of define where their wings are at. Okay, I know I'm way over it. No, I'm not yet. I figured I was way over it. I will be before it's over with because I want to get some other stuff in here. Black. Again, this is going to be a very light touch because you just don't want it overwhelming. Although she's got black on her, maybe just a little bit of yellow right here and it's still just a little bit wider. Keep getting that black, it's getting on my nerves. Okay, I'm gonna pick up some more red, and actually I do have some of that orange on here too. Just Pick up just a little tiny bit of black again. Now, what's easier, because I didn't like draw these on, but you could have obviously drew them on and just sort of colored them in. And of course, that would have made, would have made it much easier. Just gonna put just a little bit of black through there, through her feathers. Right here with that. Okay, I'm gonna clean all that off. I'm gonna let her dry for a little bit. So since we have pine cones, then we need some pine needles. Now, in the fall, I mean, I do have some pine needles that are still green, but a lot of them are brown. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the colors and clean my brush out. And I'm using the same brush, just this little thin one. And I'm just going to start laying some pine needles and stuff in here. And basically, I'm just going to, it's a light touch. Let's see if I can show you how to do this. You just touch and pull, touch and pull. And of course, you stretch them out however long you want them. This is a sort of a big canvas to go over, so I like to go. And sometimes I like it darker than that, so. But yet we want it to look like fall. And I'm going to go right over top of that branch with that. Okay. And I mean, I may come over here and put some too. I'm picking up some of that brown with that. So it's got these little, like I said, I've got all kinds of pine trees out there. I know that they have these little tough things, and then they'll have the stems. I'm just going to go make some of them. Just put some of them on there, and that way I'll know where I want them. Okay. It's almost like it's got like a little, I don't know, like a little starting place or something for them. Okay. So I know that I did it there. And I'm going to do some right here. Again, we can make these as long as we want to make them. And I do want them to come over. And we could do them in different directions. And look underneath those fire cones. They don't all flow in the same direction either. Crazy as them. Too wide, too wide. So if you get too wide, this means that I'm putting way too much pressure on that. Trying to hurry up. And sometimes that ain't good either. So this. course, it has to have some more because they're not bare. I don't know who all else joined me. I hope that they did. I never seen anybody actually asking to join. So I'm sorry. Let me get out of there. Just wanted to check, make sure that I didn't miss somebody if they'd actually wanted to come in. Pretty late, huh? Okay, so I'm just going to keep right here. We'll do some more. I do the initial bunch. I like to just go and do some more. Of course, this is I made a big tree here, so it should have a lot of pine needles and stuff on it. Okay. Okay, for a while, didn't have all that, I think. I know that poor little bird, she looks pretty homeless. Probably why she's way up here on that limb and he's way down there. I'm planning on fixing her a little bit. Okay, so I got my script liner again. I will come over here and I will fix her beak because I just messed it up awful. Okay, and still, I do not like this right here. Let me see if I can make her some red. Covered it up. I still want y'all to be able to see. She does have a tail down there. And pick up just a little bit of white. Too much. Too much. It'll be fine. And anytime you use a script liner, just make sure that you're rolling it out. Because if you don't, you'll get big old clumps of that paint on there and it's not good. Unless that's the effect that you're going for. Yeah, I'm gonna go right over top. This right here should have come up a little bit more with the black. Like this, right? Like that. Okay. And then she has a white. Again, roll, roll, roll. Okay, it should have been white. Black that she has. It should be black right here. Okay. Okay. And then he has to have his dot back in his eye because when I first did it, all it was uh, okay. I'm gonna quit on that. Let's see what time it is. Yeah, I'm all over. Okay, probably something else I would do. I mean, it's just a preference. Is that I'm going to take. I'm gonna take the end of this brush. You guys have seen me do this. Now, this could be brown or they could be yellow or whatever color. I'm going to do red. And I'm just going to go right here and tip my brush. And just somewhere where some of these pine cones are, I'm just going to put some berries. Again, these could have been like an orange or whatever color you wanted them. I just think it sort of highlights it a little bit more. They could have been orange, brown. Maybe you want. Okay. No, some more. They don't have to be on every branch either. I just thought I'd do that. So anyway, that is something. Um, what I could have done and what you can do is like um, do like some little ribbon. You could have just went right across. We got the red here. We'll do the red, and you don't have to do this. Just pick a bunch of black. I just need to quit, don't I? Get out. I mean, if you had to, I'll do it. Yeah, I know what I'll do. Yeah, I'm gonna look here. I'm just gonna do a simple little ribbon here. I don't want the way that this do. I'm gonna do it right here, just right here at the start of this, and I'm just going to start making loops. On top of that, top of that one. The berries could be right in the middle. Maybe one more. Right here in the middle. we're just going to do like a little comma that, and right here where this ribbon would go down. Let's just go. I told you those clumps will get on that. There we go. And I like to do just maybe just a little tiny bit of highlight on that. So there we go. I'm gonna quit and make sure. I mean, this you could do this on a plate. You could do this on. I understand that, Gloria. Like I said, I wasn't for sure what I was even going to do. So if I'd actually planned better, I would have maybe drew these on there and gave y'all plenty of heads up. I wasn't for sure what I was going to do. At first, I thought I was going to just do some pine cones and some fall leaves, and I didn't do any of that. So um, anyway, we're going to make sure that we sign it. Okay. What you could do too, like if this had been a different color, of course, you could have done this on a black canvas, or, a blue canvas, and then sprinkle, snow and stuff on it. You could have used a scruffy brush and come over here and added snow to the branches and everything. So there, just use your imagination. So I love you, ladies. I thank you, Miss Gloria. I love you, lady. I'm so glad you come to hang. And yeah, you can always just draw the cardinals on before you start. And she probably, especially her, she wouldn't look nearly as wicked. As I said, that's probably why he's way down here. So anyway, I love you, ladies. Have a wonderful day. I'm going to close this out now in